I'm Sonya. That's Kano.
I'm Liu Kang.
Meet Jax.
Kung Lao. Lord Raiden. The fate of Earth is in our hands.
Hello, all you beautiful people, and welcome to the stream. That was just my little way of kind of doing the trailer my own little way, kind of cut it up, did a little thing, so had fun with it. Anyways, welcome.
What's
Here
up?
to my right, I guess, Lucas. How are you doing, sir?
Pretty good, man. How about you?
I'm good. So, I'm excited to talk about this.
I am too. It's really fresh in my mind right now. Literally coming off a 3 hour, maybe a 2 hours ago, watched it. So
good. It's fresh off your mind because I watched it yesterday. So I mean, fairly fresh, but
you can have a little less unbiased opinion because you got some time to process. But
Yeah.
mine's pretty biased right now. So let's get into it.
Okay. All right. So before I get into it, I just want to see who's in the chat. I see Katrina. Hey, how are you doing? Glad you're here.
What's up,
as
Katrina?
always.
Hi.
Happy. And anyone that's coming into the stream, if you can just hit that like button, really appreciate it. And before we get into the topic, you guys already know. Well, first, Carla won't be in here. She doesn't care for Mortal Kombat. So it's gonna actually be three of us. Justin, he's in backstage right now. I will introduce him here in a little bit. Before I get him introduced, you guys already know we got to talk about theme park news real quick because we're all about theme park. First up on the plate. So the People Mover was something I brought up last week. It was supposed to open up, they said, the first week of May. Looks like things have been processing and kind of going at a quick pace to where they said this weekend, the People Mover pretty much opened up. I have not seen any videos. I know people were getting ready for it to open up either yesterday or today. I don't know if you saw any pictures or videos, Lucas?
No, I didn't. It's been a busy week for me again. So
So good news there. They were ahead of schedule by a week. So but I'll give you more confirmation about that because I haven't really looked at it so much, just read that it was going to open this weekend, but I don't have confirmation from anybody else that I know that goes to the parks or streams or anything. So on other news, Super Nintendo World at Universal Japan is back to shutting down for a couple of weeks because there was a sudden surge of COVID cases over there. So they had to shut down.
Tragic.
Yeah. Can you imagine if you plan a trip within now and they close down? Like if you live there, I mean, it's you're just oh, I got to wait the 2 weeks.
I mean, it's kind of like how we were planning a California trip for 2020.
Yeah.
For Disneyland. And then, we didn't have it planned, but it's kind of the same concept.
Sorry guys, I'm seeing something backstage and he actually reminded me of something I was supposed to do. So, but anyways, Katrina said it opened today. So there you go. It was supposed to be either yesterday or today. So there you guys go. People Mover is moving finally after a year.
Favorite ride at Disney World is the People Mover. No, not really, but at the same time it is. I think every time we go to Magic Kingdom, I think People Mover is our first ride of the day, no matter what time we go. Yeah, always go first.
Yeah, it's really good. It's a really good ride. It's a relaxing ride too.
It's just relaxing.
I just don't get why it took them a whole year to what was the problem? I'll try to look up and see, or if anyone knows, if you know, Katrina, what was the main reason for having it closed for a whole year? I know it's an old ride, but there's other old rides that they opened up on day one. So I have no idea.
Maybe there's just some mechanisms or something. Who knows? It took a while, or Who knows? Who
I don't
knows?
know. Also on the last news for the theme park news, the what did you call them? The Skyliners. There
Broke
was
down
two
again.
of them. Yeah, two of them actually crashed into each other.
Oh
So
wow.
they said it crashed into each other. There were some guests in. There was some glass broken, kind of spread everywhere. There's no injuries or anything, but they were stuck for a while. Can you imagine? Can you imagine when? Just a quick story, Lucas. Remember when you guys? I told you I've never been on it. Could you imagine if the first time you going on it that happened? I'd be like, never again. I'm like, I'm miserable in here. We're stuck. There's glass everywhere. This is supposed to be fun, you
Yeah.
guys. It's supposed
I
to be
think
fun.
that's the second time though since they've been open, so
Yeah.
it's not like a consistent thing. So
No, yeah, it happened. Hey, Krista, how are you doing?
yeah.
Glad you're here.
So they're pretty. I mean, I think they are pretty like well made and sufficient.
Yeah, I think
they're really good.
Yeah, they said the last time that happened or broke down, or I guess they crashed, was the very first time they opened up, and that was like what, maybe a little bit over a year ago.
A little over a year, yeah.
So 2 accidents within a year, I guess. But Katrina's saying she will not go in.
I've been on it so many times. It's such a good ride.
Yeah. You know what? I always thought that too, because like, I don't know, I always like look at them, I'm like, what happens if that, and then it did happen. I'm just like, wow. Well, but yeah, so no injuries. They crashed. People were stuck for a couple hours. They got them out safely, and the I was gonna call them people movers. The Skyliners are moving again. Everything's good, you guys. So we're all good. All right, so got all the theme park news out of the way.
Let's get into the meats and potatoes.
Yes.
More meat than potatoes, but
so I'm going to introduce our other guest host, Justin. He's this dude. So as I introduce him, he just reminded me of something. So I need to remove myself, and I will be back, Lucas, so you guys can talk amongst yourself. Welcome everyone in if you see anything. But Justin, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, welcome, Justin.
I am not Justin. I am Lord Raiden.
So
they do this shot like 5 times in the movie where he's just
so
eye reveal.
Or then there's the
so I will be back. I just thought of something. You guys talk amongst yourselves. Say hello to the and everyone that's in the chat.
Hi,
please
Katrina.
give us a thumbs up to both of our channels. We really help out the channels, and I will be right back. Give me like 10 seconds.
All right, guys. So since he's gone,
test your might.
They dropped so many Easter eggs in this movie. They really did.
I mean, it's hard to like. Well, let's. I guess. What did you think about it? No spoilers, Lucas.
What did I think about it? No spoilers.
Yes.
Terrible acting, but I mean, great action. So I mean, it's Mortal Kombat, baby. Over the top acting, terrible acting. Okay, take about it. Over the top acting, great action.
Mm-hmm.
Felt like I was watching an actual fight from the games, like the way the martial arts was being like conveyed. Like it was very static, like it wasn't like super like flashy and like super like fast movement action. It was just like punch, stance, punch, stance, punch. So I mean, it was very much like the games, which I liked. I liked it. I liked the movie. It was a fun movie, fun watch, fun take. Like it was quippy. It was almost like an R-rated Marvel movie.
Okay. We've already gotten that with Daredevil.
Oh Lord!
Deadpool.
Copycat.
Oh,
copycat.
There you go.
There you go.
Me up.
Look at you.
You know,
that's not how you do anything.
This is mine. This is not a Mortal Kombat hat, but I tried. I tried.
You look like Aaron Black on vacation.
I would say the when you said bad acting, Lucas, it was some of the performances were bad.
Yeah.
Some of them were really good though.
Hanzo Asashi, love him.
He's a legendary
Love him.
I forget his name. He's 60 years old. Right at the beginning of this movie. No spoilers, but there's you'll see in the trailer the old man playing with the rope dart is fighting with the rope dart, not playing. It's he's a 60-year-old actor who I've seen in several samurai roles, and him and the only other recognizable actor in this movie is the guy who played Shang Tsung, who is from The Dark Knight. Alex, he was the
Hey Anna.
Isn't
Lao.
Raiden played by Wong from Marvel?
No,
That's
no,
Wong.
That's not Benedict Wong. No,
no.
absolutely
I thought it
not.
was. I thought it was.
How you doing?
I thought
Nope.
it was.
Nope.
My
Benedict
bad.
Wong is not that Japanese.
He's not that Japanese.
I don't even think he is Japanese. They went full Japanese from the
start of it.
like if you compare this to the 90s movie where the white guy played Raiden, they went as far Japanese as you could for Raiden in this movie to try and erase that sin.
Which Raiden's ethnicity shouldn't be like ever called in question. Like he can be whatever he is because he's an elder
Sure.
god. He's an elder god. He's not even like a human. So what is race really?
Sure. But yeah, like the Shang Tsung. I always want to say Shao Kahn, but that's not the villain of this movie. Shang Tsung was played by Lao from The Dark Knight, who was the accountant for the mob, who was like, I'm good with calculations.
Lao?
Yeah.
I did not know that was Lao.
Yeah, and he's doing a very different voice.
Oh yeah.
And
very over the top acting, like I just said earlier. All acting in this movie is over the top, whether it's good or bad. It's over the top.
So
yeah, we're doing non-spoilers right now, Alex.
Non-spoilers, okay.
Yeah, like for the first little bit, yeah.
I saw Krista here was asking
the
which
old
is
one
better,
or
the
this
old
one?
This one. I would say this one.
For what Mortal Kombat is known for, I mean, for like fatalities and like blood, and I said, the meats more than the potatoes.
Yeah.
Like it was definitely meets the bar, but like the 90s had that campy early Mortal Kombat feel too. Like if you ever played, I'm sure all of us played like the Mortal Kombat 1 through 3 back in the day, and it was like all the campy funness coming out of that little video game arcade. That was what the 90s movies was. The first 90s movie, not Annihilation. We don't talk about Annihilation. That movie doesn't exist. That's like Spider-Man 3 level bad.
Yeah. That one was pretty bad.
Has a pretty good Sub-Zero versus Scorpion fight. I'm not going to lie.
It's still
but
bad.
that's the only thing in it, other than it's fun to laugh at. Like it's a good movie to laugh at, ironically.
I guess
it is so bad.
I was gonna say, like with the old one, the first one, I guess if you think about it in that time era, it fit for
I like the first
that era of Mortal Kombat being produced, kind of, but they still should have hit it as a rated R title and gave it like at least like 90s level rated R content, whereas this one was definitely like, if you played Mortal Kombat like 9 through 11, like the fatalities that they show in this movie are like, they're so good.
Yeah, they're really good. The fatalities.
Just a hint here.
Yeah, that was. I think we'll get to it, but I think we'll
just
get
the
to
teaser,
it.
just a teaser, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Krista, if because she was saying she's old, and am I gonna be like, really? Like, no, I think you're gonna like this if you enjoyed the old one. It's just really gruesome. Like it's Mortal Kombat. They didn't leave anything out.
They shouldn't leave. Like that's the thing with the 90s version. Like they shouldn't have pulled punches by making a PG-13 movie that's accessible to everybody. I mean, Mortal Kombat was all over the news back in the day, like, back in the 90s, about like being like this over the top. It's making people go crazy. Is this what's making the schools get shot up? Like it was all over the news about that. So why not just funnel into it and just keep going with the madness that was this franchise? But they played it safe, and I was like,
Yeah.
Now they didn't play it safe with this one,
Yeah,
and the blood is there, the fighting's in there.
I will
the language is in there.
I will say, because we're doing non-spoiler talks, do you guys feel like for them they had control and it was rated R? Do you feel like it could have been a little bit more? Like, do you feel like they it was like, it was, I don't know, it was kind of like, how can I word this? It like the gore was there, but I feel like for rated R, it was kind of on the lighthearted side. On like they didn't have enough. They didn't have enough. I'm not saying the gore scenes weren't gory enough. I'm just saying they could have done more to, like, when you play the video game, like it's just so much like things are breaking and things are getting, you know.
This felt like Mortal Kombat 11, the newest Mortal Kombat. The way they did their fatalities, where it's more like a fun artsy photograph, and there was like funny faces on some of the people. That's what that felt like. Whereas like Mortal Kombat 10 was like visceral and nasty, and like these would be like Saw level like fatalities. So it was kind of like in the middle between the two of them. I mean, it's a movie. I mean, it's going to look different, of course, but
I think they had just the right amount. If they're going to continue it.
I mean, I feel like
Alex, when we get into the spoilers, we might have to remind you of how absolutely graphic some of this stuff was. And you don't have to be that graphic to get an R rating. And this one was way over the top with some of the, you know, just right from the beginning.
This was like, for comparison, for someone who, if we're not trying to put no spoilers topic on it, if anybody saw the new Hellboy movie with what's his name, Harbor from Stranger Things, David Harbour from Stranger Things, like that movie was graphic, like bloody. That movie was a very bloody movie, and like it's comparable to that. Granted, that movie was a little bad, but like the violence of that movie is comparable to the violence that happens in this movie when the violence happens.
I mean, I guess we'll get into it.
Yeah.
Crystal was saying that she was beating all the boys with the game. That's actually, hey, if you ever want to play Mortal Kombat, Krista, challenge accepted, because I'm really good at it, and I want to play someone that's really good at the game. Jake saying definitely could have been more violent by adding more enemies. I agree.
Like, red shirts by adding like red shirts just to die. Is that what you want? Or
like
he's saying the fights were rushed over so fast with no time to enjoy them.
I agree with that. But I think that there's so many of them that as a whole you enjoy all of it.
Yeah, because each character had a point to shine at one point with what their abilities are.
Right. And but you want with Mortal Kombat, the one thing that this didn't do is, first off, I don't want to, this is kind of a spoiler, but like let's just spoil the 90s one real quick. That movie was a tournament. There was people there. They would put them in a tournament, and it would be 1 versus 1. It was all staged. It was all set up that way. This movie does not have that. This is not where there's build up to a fight. It just happens dynamically, and it's in and out. And you know, I disagree. I think a lot of them gave you plenty of time to enjoy them, but they were always doing more immediately after. So there's not, with the pacing of this movie, there's not a lot of peaks and valleys. It's just all peak, especially towards the back half of it.
Yeah.
So you didn't have time to digest the carnage, so to speak. So I think what Alex is getting at is when it comes to like the gore was so quick, it's not memorable. But it's still there. It's just you get past the gore and there's something else happening, and there's something else happening, and there's something else happening.
I mean, yeah, and I agree with Jake, what he was saying. Like it just felt kind of rushed, and I just feel like
it could have been longer.
It could have been longer, but
I could have used another 20 minutes of this.
Could have used another 2 hours. Give us the Mortal Kombat. Give us the Ed Boon Mortal Kombat cut.
But I think we kind of covered the bases. Like, I think if you enjoy Mortal Kombat, go watch it. The acting is like hit and miss. The action's there. The gore, the everything you needed, fatalities, all that is there. They didn't disappoint at all. A lot of the fighting could have been, I don't know. It wasn't bad, but it was kind of like it was too slow, I want to say. Like
the fighting? Did you say fighting? Sorry, I spaced out there for a second. What? Okay, so I brought this up before actually you came. In fact, like it's like the video game. Like, in the video game, it's not like like Marvel vs. Capcom or those other fighting games where it's like combo, 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 fast, 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 go, 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 go. It's like strike, 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 stance, 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 strike, strike, strike. That's exactly what those fights were like. It was like watching like a match being played out.
Yeah, but you're still doing some kind of combo. Like when I'm playing Mortal Kombat, I'm doing some kind of combo, and that's how you get more damage on your enemy.
Well, there's combos, but it's not like lightning speed combos like in other style fighting games.
It depends on the character.
Nah, sorry, I play enough fighting games in my life to be like I can dispute you on that one.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's move on. I think.
No, I was gonna say let's get into the spoiler of it. So spoiler.
Well, I could throw in a few nitpicks that are still non-spoiler for anybody staying for the non-spoiler part, because number one, as a Mortal Kombat casual fan, like I don't know the lore of the games, but I've seen the 2 original movies. I really enjoyed the first one. Certainly not a good movie, but I enjoy it. The second one is a horrible movie, and I don't enjoy it, but it's funny to laugh at because it's so bad. This one, I was surprised how similar it was to the first movie. It's very different in a lot of ways, but it's also, there's a lot of similarities that I did not expect. Me and Lucas were talking about bad acting. There's a lot of great performance in this. Not to single anybody out until we get to the spoiler part. The worst performances, or the main character, Cole Young. Him and Sonya Blade, I think,
awful
when they needed to be, because they seem to be very focused on casting people who knew how to fight and could really do the physicality of their performances. Sonya and him did a great job with that, especially with Cole towards the end. Sonya mostly throughout, but Cole towards the end, showing off really nice moves. But when it came to their line delivery, their emoting, and their overall comedic timing and everything, they either just didn't have any of it or they did it poorly. So that's one of the big complaints. There's and then everything else. There's a lot of other characters like Liu Kang who are just over the top in their acting, but they're still enjoyable.
Liu Kang, it hurt.
It's enjoyable, and because it's done in an ironically comedic way, but you can still appreciate it, and it doesn't take away from his character. And the number one complaint about this movie, which is kind of it's more of a temper your expectations than a spoiler. If you like the Mortal Kombat theme, too bad, because it's hardly used. I'm not saying they don't use it at all, but it is certainly neglected in a just an inexcusable way, in my opinion. It's a travesty they didn't use it more. Okay. Alex?
Well, we're going to get into spoilers because you reminded me of something with the music, and you're right that I think they only played it towards the end, right?
They played it once, and it was for a split second.
Yeah, and it's like it should have been played more, but we'll get into it. So, just letting anybody know in the chat, non-spoiler review out the window. We are in
spoiler country now, boys.
Yeah, spoiler, leave now. You have your chance. If you don't care,
there's not extremely cool plot twist for this movie.
So yeah, I know. It's not like there's a plot twist and we just ruined the whole movie.
There's zero plot twist for this movie.
Yeah, so if you're curious about this movie,
it's very straightforward.
Yeah.
Just people fighting each other. Yeah.
Krista, back to your question. Yes, I did eat the candy, and I appreciate that you guys are both in here. They're just talking about pushing buttons. And yes, don't forget to hit that like button. It will really help out our channels. Thank you. So yeah, buttons. And let's get into it. So first, before I want to find out, because it's Mortal Kombat, we all have our favorite characters. I want to know, you guys in the chat, and you guys, Lucas and Justin, who was your favorite Mortal Kombat character, and were they in the movie? Because they left out, certain characters. So, one of them I found out who's popular. He's kind of popular. I didn't really care for him, Johnny Cage, but let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat.
Second movie setup, though.
Yeah, I know it did set up at the end, but let me know, you guys, who is your favorite Mortal Kombat character, and were they in the movie? I will start with me, and it's kind of obvious because I have Raiden. He's always been him. Well, when I started off with the older Mortal Kombat's, like the first, like the old ones, it was Liu Kang. I really liked him, but then I moved over to Raiden. I just loved electricity, and then as each game came out, different versions, they just, you know, he had different cool moves and he could do different things. And my favorite one is where he's flying and electricity's like, and he does like a little spin, he pushes you back. I love that. I always use that on people. But yeah, Raiden is my favorite. So and he was in the movie. So, and I wasn't really disappointed. I wish he would have fought. I would have loved to see him fight, but he did some cool stuff. The CGI with him and some of the stuff was pretty good. I think with Sub-Zero, it was a lot better. It looked better, but I wasn't disappointed. We got someone said Jake said Scorpion. Okay. What about you guys?
Reptile's my boy.
Reptile.
Reptile's my boy.
Did you?
Although
this
they just in the games in the
how about in the movie? How about in the movie?
Oh, in the movie?
Did you like him in the movie?
I mean, I liked that they used the bestial reptile now because that's what they're moving for. That's what they're moving towards in the games. Like that's what they moved into. Them being just like another copycat a green and black ninja instead of a white and blue and red and purple and pink and magenta and all these other colors. So that finally each ninja is getting their own like features. So yeah, that's what I like.
Another missed opportunity with no reptile theme.
Yeah, that is a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
I agree with Jake though, but Jake, we got Noob coming in that second movie. Hint, hint.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm hoping they do make the second one, but
I mean, it's going. It's going to. I'm sure it's going to.
This movie started out good with the box office, but a lot of the Metacritic is bringing it down, which is just dumb. This is a Mortal Kombat movie.
Yeah.
You know, it does what it needs to do, but we'll get into that towards the end, I guess. Favorite characters? You have any more to say about Reptile, Lucas?
Nah, that's my boy. I mean,
Alex.
I mean, they always use him as like a kill factor in the movies. Basically, they just have him fight someone real quick and then die. But you know,
I agree, Jake. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably going to be set up. I mean, it seems like Shang Tsung's being used as like a main villain, and like maybe Shao Kahn's going to be like the dark side / Thanos of this universe
Shao
that they want to
Kahn?
build. Yeah.
Okay.
But they still could have gave us like a little fight, you know, like some kind of just little something. Let them rumble.
Shang Tsung is like the Loki, and Shao Kahn's going to be like the Thanos.
Hey, what's up, Jose? I'm glad you're here.
If they keep up with a universe building,
I would see this more as going into that, kind of getting down this rabbit hole. If Lucas, you said they're doing a trilogy.
yeah,
I would think they would go along the Annihilation route and do Shao Kahn in the next movie, and then bring Shang Tsung back in the third movie with his armies, because
Shang Tsung isn't the main the main bad guy though.
I don't know.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's
all
what
I
I'm
know
saying.
is Annihilation, and I didn't
Just like
Shao Kahn in
I'm
that,
pretty
so.
sure the relic that Kano grabs in the temple. Sorry, we're just going all over the place because my brain. This is all fresh, so it's all in my head. There's a relic that Kano grabs, and I'm pretty sure that's like Shinnok's amulet, and Shinnok's one of the. There's like four really really bad big bad characters in the Mortal Kombat universe that I can think of off the top of my head right now, and Shinnok's one of them. So maybe we'll see him. I don't know. It just depends on what we get, you know.
Lucas doing this right here.
Yeah, I'm all over the place.
So Alex, you did say you like
Yeah.
Raiden, but in this movie, did you get your Raiden itch scratched, for lack of better words? Did this one do it for you? Did this version?
Yeah, I didn't
Okay.
I didn't have a problem with the actor himself or the scenes that they gave Raiden, and yeah, like there was nothing, like I said, the electricity, all the different scenes with him, just lightning and all that. It wasn't bad. I didn't go like, oh, that was some bad CGI. Like it was pretty cool. Like it wasn't nothing amazing. I mean, I'm hoping in the second installment they'll do some more, but I mean, I was okay with it. Like I'm satisfied.
The CG was great. My favorite character. So I have always, one of my earliest memories is trying to get the bicycle kicks going as Liu Kang in the first Mortal Kombat game I ever played, probably the first video game I ever touched ever. So he's always stuck with me, and especially the Liu Kang in the 90s movies were just, I've never seen such a perfect head of hair and such defined abs, and he just being shirtless all the time. I was like, that guy is awesome. But in this one, Liu Kang didn't do it for me. He was, I mean, he was fun. I enjoyed him, but he didn't have the hair. He didn't have it. I mean, they got to have that hairspray, poofy, floaty 80s hair that's just coming down.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. But when he took his shirt off, I don't like that guy had like negative body fat. Like it is the most defined set of body muscles, like from his back to his arms, to his abs, to his chest. I mean, that guy is like,
which is what I view Liu Kang as,
right.
like literally the embodiment of like human perfection.
So despite him having those abs, Kano, I think, was the most entertaining character to just be around and have screen time in this movie, which almost probably everybody would agree. But the coolest guy in this movie, hands down, was Kung Lao. And anybody who says anything differently maybe make an argument for Scorpion with his hype moment at the end. But like Kung Lao with this game, his entrance when he popped up out of the ground
straight from the video game, the teleport straight from the video game, and the hat throw,
and he has the best fatality. And sorry, I can't stand for I that is my favorite this movie. So I haven't played the games so I didn't have any expectations for anything other than having seen the 90s movies. So with Kung Lao not being in the 90s movies, this was a huge and pleasant surprise. That was really awesome.
My thing with Liu Kang too was talking about the acting. He was just kind of like, he's like, just how he was talking. It was just so
over the top.
Yeah.
And it was great.
He felt to me like a guy who would always go to the Mortal Kombat conventions and never be a part of it, and then finally they gave him a shot, and he's just like so into it, and everybody's like, Lou, you don't have to do this when you talk, you could just chill out for a second.
Yeah. And I mean, he had that serious look too. He's just like, we do not have time, and it was just like, I don't know, he was just so, I don't know,
it was so Liu Kang. It hurt though. Like that's the funny thing. It's like Liu Kang's an over the top Bruce Lee imitation character essentially that can throw fireballs. So the fact that he was acting like that, I was like, I get you, homie.
I got you very well, and his abs made up for his okay. Yeah. I liked his overacting because it made him unique and it differentiated him from Kung Lao, because Kung Lao was his foil. He was more stoic, and they were both cousins. But Kung Lao was the stoic,
stoic and sassy
like that. Where
stoic and sassy.
Liu Kang was the most cliche monk character, where he's not the kind of guy who's going to say any cuss words. He's just going to be in the background.
They actually flipped. So that personality fits more to Kung Lao from the video games.
No,
if my memory serves correctly, the one for way Liu Kang was more like Shaolin monkey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adoptive cousins. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so it looks like
cousinlings.
Cousins. So
not the cousinlings.
You killed all the cousinlings.
All right, let's talk about now the movie. What you did like, what you disliked. I mean, we kind of covered it. I feel like
we get
acting was hit and miss.
Yeah.
The CGI looked really good. I mean,
and sometimes Jackson's little chicken wing arms were awful.
Well, I mean that, but then when he went full mass, then it looked really good. It looked better than Cyborg overall.
Right, exactly. And I argued to Jake that it was good that the arms look like little chicken wings because it made it more hype. It made it more hype when the real arms did show up.
Yeah, their Arcana happened.
Yeah. Apparently you don't like that element. I think the element itself is, especially I could see from the point of view, the plot element of the Arcana disappointing some fans. But if you have a 2-hour movie, that is a fantastic way to have this movie. What surprises me about this movie is that they actually did care enough to give each of the characters, or a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them, moments. They all had their own arcs. Some of them were better than others, but all of their arcs culminated in their Arcana showing up, which happened at a right time in their character development. Like I said, some of them are better than others. Sadly, I think the best character Arcana showing up was Kano's, because it fit really well with his character, and it was just one of the most fun scenes in the movie. And I would say, like, that reminds me what I was going to say earlier. This movie is 60% fighting and 20% trash talk, and then another 20% actual plot. So yeah,
there's like 10% plot. There's barely any plot.
Yeah, there's no plot at all.
So maybe there's just more trash talk. Yeah,
lasers are better than fireballs. Kano, literally, I could just put Kano's lines in a hat, pull them out, and then be like, yeah, the Arcana is robot arms.
That's being an Arcana it's a cop out. It's certainly a cop out, but and it doesn't really work. It's not a good.
And they're telling me like Sub-Zero has Arcana, right? Because that's not Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero is a cryomancer, not an Arcana master. What are we?
I'm sure in this lore he got it from an Arcana. I'm sure.
I'm sure. But like that whole, and then like Sonya having like her wrist blades or her wrist blasters being Arcana powers.
Yeah,
she has tech that can do that. Why can't she just have
it was
tech
also
that can do that?
also so in and out where she uses them once and it's just like, yeah, I got these things now. Cool. And she just yeah. She just hey, I got my Arcana. It shoots people.
You guys were mentioning that you think that her acting was bad. You guys didn't.
Sonya Blade was terrible.
She didn't emote very well. Her line delivery was really bad.
She was literally like a stumbleman.
She was great at fighting and she was great at standing in the right poses and everything, and she looks like Sonya. But when it comes to her line delivery, there's a scene where Kano's got her on the neck and he goes, "How does that feel?" And she just goes, "It feels amazing." But like you didn't feel that she actually felt happy about it, you know? She's just like, it feels freaking amazing. And she just kind of gets up, you know, and like when she was talking to Jax about, you know, thank you for pushing me, like it's just saying like she's reading a script. It doesn't seem like she's acting to me.
Yeah, Jake. So that was something one of my things I was going to bring up for my likes is every character had a character accurate fatality. Almost every character had a character accurate fatality from the game.
Yeah,
very good. Which comes to like, if you're going to do a movie for the fans, why not have the theme song?
Exactly. I know. Yeah. Well, like from Kano's heart rip to Kung Lao's face split to Liu Kang using the fire dragon as his
and bicycle kicks too, though.
He used the moves, of course, but like we had his Sub-Zero and his Toasty fatality. Like every character that hit a fatality in this, and even Shang Tsung. I just saw Shang Tsung just flash across the screen here. Like Shang Tsung's like just holding somebody up and sucking their soul out. That's just a fatality. So they showed them all off.
I also like that they build up. Alex is trying to make a point. Go ahead, Alex.
No, I'm trying. I'm trying to find like different fatalities in here.
Okay. Well, you're not going to see them in the trailer because it's a. Every time Kung Lao did anything with his, look at that shot.
Yeah.
Yoink. It's like Thor throwing Mjolnir.
But like cooler because he's got like this weird pose and he does them so quick and furiously. That it's just so like he feels like a force to be reckoned with. So I love Kung Lao.
Yeah.
Babality, what's that?
It's where they all turn into babies instead of killing somebody. Sorry, yeet.
This is like our best comment section today with their jokes.
It's amazing.
Right.
Yeah. Good job, guys.
I was gonna say, well, we were kind of getting into the thoughts because I mean that is what Mortal Kombat is. So like
10 out of 10. Yeah. Will fatality again.
Alex is like, I want more, but like literally, Alex, do you remember when there was some kind of like metal hat on the ground.
Yes,
Right
I
there,
remember.
right there, and then there was a
And
girl
then-
with wings, and she
Yes.
just kind of
And then
like
she was
fell,
dead. And then she was
And
kind of
then-
dead.
She slid
That
a little
one-
bit,
That
and her
one,
head touched it, and then it just there goes her body.
And then do
Flips
you
it
remember
right
there
over.
was kind of like this Machamp looking guy coming at this dude that had some like armor on, and he had like these two little sticks in his hands, and all of a sudden, big forearm guy was missing a hand, and then his intestines were hanging out of his body.
Do you remember when Scorpion in the beginning of the movie stabbed a guy in the back, pulled his sword out, stabbed him again in the head, yanked the sword out, blood goes up all over the place, and then do you remember when he's crawling, bleeding all out of his orifices, and then just spits up like gallons of blood? Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know. What are you talking about? Not gory enough, Alec. I don't understand it, man.
That
I don't
the
know what you
X-ray,
want.
Jake. Though, if they had incorporated X-rays and like X-rays into this
Yachty.
movie somehow, some way, but I think it would have been really hard and really like out of place. Anyways,
Do you remember when
Here's the
Max's
thing,
arms
I'm
were
not-
getting
Yes,
twisted
here's the thing.
around?
I'm not saying, gentlemen, I'm not saying that it wasn't enough, but for rated R, I just expected more. Like, you know, it would have been cool, like if more limbs were chopped off and like maybe thrown to the camera and
There
like
were
the blood.
hands chopped off.
There
were arms
was, but it
chopped
just
off.
wasn't enough. It wasn't.
Homie
Like,
had a still beating heart in his
okay,
hand.
for example,
You
Jack,
need a, we
let me
didn't get
see
any
if I have
leg
the
chops
scene.
off.
Hold on, let me see if I have the scene. I'm talking about.
That wasn't
No,
gory
that
enough
scene was-
for you.
Scorpion literally cuts off a guy's arm, blood goes flying one way, and not Scorpion, Hanzo cuts off a guy's arm while he's dealing with another guy and eviscerating him over on the other opposite
Here's the thing,
side.
I'm saying the gore. I'm saying everything was 10 out of 10, but because I just feel like it could have done like all this. Like this was all good, you know, like all of this and some other stuff. Like, you know, arms. Like I said, hands are getting chopped off. Everything, like you said about Kung Lao. And we're talking about fatalities. That one was my favorite when he had it going in the sand and she just went right through and just like, and she split
Jake,
open and see
that's
everything.
more.
Yes. But
Like, I want you to go find that scene real quick. I want you to go find all the scenes where there's a fatality, and I want you to zoom in and then freeze frame
No,
on
yes,
all the
yeah,
You
little
don't have
sticky
time to do
bits.
that. You don't have time
I
to do
I know not now,
Right.
but I want you to go do that and then come
On
back
your
and
own
tell me,
time.
hey, this isn't a rated R movie. More
no,
rated
I'm
R.
not saying it's
that.
not
Jake is
rated
doing
R.
the Jake is doing the Kylo Ren.
Jake's saying more.
More.
Nope,
the Kylo
not
Ren.
enough. Thank you. See, I have somebody on my side. Thank you, Jake. Thank you.
I'm not against you. I'm just trying to remember. Like it is definitely R rated.
like I'm not
It's
saying you guys.
Surely could have had more,
I'm
but
not
I think it has
saying-
just the right amount for it to
I'm
be
not saying
satisfying.
I wasn't sitting there going like mad. Like I was disappointed. I wasn't disappointed. Like I said, 10 out of 10. I just felt like there was just certain ones that just like they just could have done more. Like when I'm playing the game and I do a fatality or whatever, like I do it for a reason. I want to see all the cool moves. I don't want to just see like one little flash. I want to see like break and bone, slash, you know, limbs thrown apart, smash and blow some heads up or something. Like there's multiple things, and I feel like they could have done more. I just feel like they could have done more.
They threw a bunch of red shirts at Hanzo, so we got a bunch of like, you know, quick deaths to introduce us to like the rated R factor of this Mortal Kombat movie. And then the first fatality that you witness is literally a hand coming out of a gigantic reptile and his heart coming out. It's like, here's his heart.
Alex just asked for a
Well-
head to explode. I remember Jax doing this, clearly exploding a head. So
Yes.
Oh,
but
there
you-
we
you
go.
don't-
There's also
here's the
that.
thing,
The man
you don't-
literally just.
But if I remember correctly,
Like a watermelon.
because it's more fresh on your guys' mind if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
When he
it
did
is.
that, they didn't really show it. It would have been nice if he would have like he was standing, like the camera view was on his back and he did it. I would have loved it if maybe he was facing the camera and Jax was right behind him and then he did it and it would
right.
That's what I'm saying.
I feel like,
Like it's
the
rated R. Why do you
director-
have him hid? Why is the camera view behind Jack as he's doing that? Like why wasn't it? It's rated R. Why are you hiding it? You should have showed it.
I want more in a sequel, and I think a lot of the gore relied on CGI, and that's probably why they were trying to just get in and out. And I think that with the pacing, again, to reiterate the point we keep making, the pacing is so bad that whenever there is a gory scene like that, it's very quick and it's in and out. We don't get like a slow, like if Jax had done that and they had zoomed in slowed the camera down and just had the head, you know, real slowly close up getting squished, would have been better. So I'll go with the 9 out of 10. But I think we'll have more in another movie, and I think there will be a sequel to this, and I'm really excited for that. And babality included. Let's have a babality, babality. I will say, do you know who? So the director of this movie is Simon McQuaid. Do you know what else he directed?
Nope.
Nothing. This is it. This is all he's made.
This is his first movie.
Yeah.
Good job, Mr. McQuaid.
And I think he was listening. I don't think he played the games. I think he had a bunch of fans around him coaching him on things about the games, and I think he saw the 90s movies. And I think he saw some footage, but I don't think he sat there and really got into the I don't think he saw the X-ray ones. Because like you would have thought either he's saving those elements for a sequel or I think he would say that would cool saving it, because all the fatalities we saw are pretty new, like pretty old, like they're pretty like classic fatalities. That's what we want. They're pretty classic, yeah. We want to see the classics, except for the Kung Lao one. The Kung Lao one we didn't get until the 3D era of Mortal Kombat, because then you could actually like start seeing like actual like some more physics of being involved instead of just like the side scrolling action. But, did you know the original Mortal Kombat games were people filmed doing? They were. That is the coolest thing ever to me. Mocap. It's just actors. Yep. Yeah, it's just actors mocapping. You know, yeah. On top of a green screen. They're just like. That's why they're like. Bah, 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 bah. Yeah, yeah, man. They also threw in like there was a lot of stupid lines for this movie that were thrown in just for fans. They didn't have any reason to be in the scene. When Liu Kang is like, fatality for Kung Lao. Fatality. Finish him. Your soul is mine. Yeah, there's just a lot Test your might.
Okay. So I need to make a point. We're gonna, because this is Mortal Kombat is about fatalities. Let me see if it'll let me do this. Share screen.
Oh, prove a point, huh? Let me see which fatality you're about to show me, because I'm seeing them all.
No, it's not not one that you have not seen, but I'm just.
What game is this from?
This one's 9. I just did a really quick search.
9? Okay, so this is what, Scorpions?
Yeah. Let's see if
Make sure what I'm muted.
Trying to say, here's the thing. What I'm trying to say is this is what I wanted to see. I wanted to see. Let's see if it plays smoothly. So I wanted to see something like that, something like that, something like that, and then something like that. That's what I mean by more. You wanted
overkill. You wanted overkill.
That's a fatality. Is that not a fatality? I mean, there's more stuff, but you know.
Well, I would say that we did get one with the spinning hat, but other than that, nothing was ever overkill. It was all just what it needed to be.
I would argue the Goro one was overkill because of the intestines and everything falling out of him.
Oh no, you don't know what it takes to bring that guy down. You better be safe.
I'm just making a point. I'm just saying, like he definitely tried to make sure he was dead. You know?
Yeah. You don't want to double tap that guy.
And then the way that Jax blew up Raiko's head, that's exactly how that fatality looks in the games.
Yeah,
I mean,
here's the thing.
I mean, and the scorpion toasty, like fatality is a classic, well-known fatality.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not saying the fatalities were not good. I'm just saying there could have been more to the fatalities, or just it for rated R. I wanted to see more of that, because like I said, a lot of the fatalities was kind of like a little build up and then something, you know, or it was just instant, like whatever, somebody's body got chopped up. But I'm saying, like, do you see how there was a build up, like something got chopped up, then tossed up, and then even more chopped up into pieces, or something gets blown up. Like I was just kind of like, you know, and I'm just like, I'm looking at this video and I'm like, see, when I'm playing the video game, that when I do the fatalities, like I want to be satisfied in each and every Mortal Kombat, all the different versions, and as these later ones, they've gotten even better. But the gore and everything was just like,
yeah. And then we said right off that these fatalities
are overkill. That is fatality. It's like,
we said right towards the beginning of when we were talking about these fatalities, they're classic fatalities, and classic fatalities were not overkill yet.
Yeah.
The Kung Lao came later, And that Kung Lao fatality came later the way it looked, so that's why it looked the way it looked. But if you look at all the other fatalities, they are very accurate representations of the the original fatalities, and they just look better because they're in better graphics.
I'm laughing. I was gonna get to the Jake's thing, but I was remembering the scene where Liu Kang keeps sweep kicking Kano, and Kano's like, "Don't you have any other moves?" and then he does a little vertical hop,
like you would in a game.
Yeah,
I literally died. Like
it's so much like the games. It hurts. Like the lore is not like the games though. So that's one of my things too. It's like it took its own liberties in creating a new story. Basically, like think of this like an alternate dimension, basically with the same characters, like the same people, just different things happening around them. But like. It was more like watching a match being played than it was watching the lore of the games coming to life.
Yeah, going to Jake's point about Reiko, he was the Slipknot of this movie. If you see Suicide Squad, he's just there to give you a death, and he's just there to be his head slapped in by metal arms. I think Jax was a little sidelined, and I think he was one of the stronger actors in this movie based on his performances. Right from the introduction of him when he's watching Cole fight, you can see on his face like how he's reacting to Cole doing really good, and then he starts struggling, and he's just like, oh, not good. And he had some of the best line delivery, but I feel like they sidelined him a little bit because he spent most of the movie in recovery. Exactly. You want to watch the other person suffer with detail.
With detail, yeah.
That's exactly because is that what you want out of the games, or do you just want it to be more like the games? Are you just that lizard brain barbaric and you want to see people being dismembered horribly?
Yeah, because that's what I appreciate about Mortal Kombat. Because I remember when I first saw that, I was like, "What am I witnessing?" But it was satisfying. I was like, "Wow, it was like a satisfying win." And then you kind of wanted to do more and more, and all the different characters to see what they all did, and just And
I felt that.
It's not even fatalities, because like when you're fighting during the game, you do certain combos or certain moves. They're like, it doesn't make sense, but they'll do some kind of stabbing or some breaking bones, and then the character comes back up, and you're like, wait, I just broke your back. But I'm just saying, like that kind of fighting wasn't in the movie.
And I agree.
Chris,
and like I just made that comment, like the newer games have more visceral looking stuff, but this was all the classic characters doing their classic fatalities. And that's what us as Mortal Kombat fans want. We don't want of course we want the blood and the guts and the grimy and the gore, but it's the classics, and they kept them.
I mean, yeah, I'm not disagreeing with that point. I'm not, and I'm not saying I wasn't satisfied. I'll get we'll see in the second one if they do what I'm talking about and discussing right now. In the second one, I'll be like, you guys, this is what I was talking about. They could have done in the first one.
Well, to give you hope,
everything
Alex,
classic, everything. It was
if say Devora shows up in one of the next two movies, and then she does a fatality, doesn't involve bugs busting from you and like causing all kinds of mayhem that way, then I'll be like, okay, then they missed the mark, But like if these newer characters come out and they don't have the visceral fatalities, then it'll make sense for that argument. Like Ermac, think Ermac from 10. If Ermac's not like pulling your entrails out through your mouth and like baking them into a ball and throwing them on the ground, then I would be there with you.
Yeah.
Krista, you haven't seen it, right? So when you're saying you hate the sweep kick is used as a gag. It's not used if you haven't seen it. Oh yeah, exactly. That's the joke they're making in the movie. Exactly.
This movie is the game. Like it's the game come to life. Like the game come to life, not the story.
Oh yeah. I mean this. I didn't really have a story besides like the focus. What I did like? I did like that they were really focusing on Sub-Zero. I think out of all the Mortal Kombat characters, they did, out of the ones that were in this movie, I think they did a really, really good job on Sub-Zero. Like, can we talk about Sub-Zero for a little bit? All his different scenes, the first initial scene with Jax, he grabs his arms, twists, and then he's freezing them up, and they're going through his like skin. You see the blood just kind of, and then and then he kicks him, and it was just like, and that CGI looked really good too. And all the CGI surrounding Sub-Zero was really good, you guys. Like, it was just really good. And his voice when he was like, "Oh, you know, I am Sub-Zero," like, it was good. I was like, dang, the voice is down, the costume's down, the look, the moves.
Disagree. I don't like the costume.
You don't like
blue
the
on it. Lucas kept insisting that there's teal.
It's teal. It is teal on it.
What it is,
there's coloring on it.
If there's coloring on it, it doesn't pop enough for me. Sub-Zero, I like a more of a contrast. I like that deep blue, you know, I don't know, a vestige thing. I think the costume was good. It's just not what I wanted for Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
And Scorpion's costume was a lot better, in my opinion, with the hood.
Yeah. It's...
but I like Sub-Zero. I think he did a really good job acting especially when he first showed up and was tormenting the family, and the family was not doing a good job acting. They didn't look that scared. They were just like, "Oh, he's here. I don't know what's going to happen." But he was just very. Is that Mr. Freeze, Alex?
Yeah.
Why?
Excuse me.
Alex, did you do this? Why would you do this?
For fun. But exactly. It also doesn't make any sense that in that scene, Scorpion says, "Get over here," because when did he learn English? He don't speak English other than that line.
Exactly.
But it was still worth it. It was still worth it.
Yeah, I give you that.
Because it was so hype. That was the only time they used the theme.
Can we make a comment real quick, Justin, about when we were sitting there watching it, and then Garrett was also dying laughing, our buddy Garrett. It's like during that scene, right, when Cole's and Hanzo's like squared up versus Sub-Zero, like Cole would just leave Hanzo alone to just go beat up the ice pillars. And then, like, Sub-Zero would come after him, and he was just like, "No, leave me alone. Knock him away for a second, and just go back to the."
And it looked terrible too, and it wasn't really doing anything, and it was.
And then
I compared it to if you're playing a video game fighting a boss, and you have allies that you have to protect, and their health bar keeps going down, you have to stop fighting the bad guy to go like protect them really quick, and the bad guy just comes by. I was really bad. It really took you. I got so hyped when that theme started, right? And then they stopped playing it, and then I stopped being as hyped. But I was like, okay, well, at least we're getting, really awesome choreo. The weapon that Scorpion uses, I call it the rope chain, the spike. I don't know, the rope dart, whatever.
Rope dart.
But it's on a chain, so it's not.
It's on a chain now.
Right, and it was all cool, but I was so taken out of it by the fact they stopped playing the theme, because if they kept it going, I would have been like, bouncing around in my seat like an idiot. But then they go, and he's beating up the ice, and I'm just like, okay. And then they go back to the fighting, and I'm
Cole
like, all right,
is a terrible character.
He's a underwhelming character. I don't think he's horrible. I just think he's underwhelming. He's not bad. It's not like it's not like watching him makes me cringe. It's just
it did me.
The only time that it made me cringe was when he was like gonna give up, and he was just like, "I can't do it," and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I was like,
he has
anime protagonist.
Yeah, he has a Captain America moment that he does not earn, where he just at one point is like, "All right, here's how we're gonna do it. You're going to fight this person. You're going to fight this person." And they're all looking at him like he's leading, like he has any knowledge of any better than they do. It's like, wouldn't Sonya be doing this because of her years of training in special forces? Kunai. Yes. Yeah, that's what it's called.
He did my girl Melina dirty too. That's another thing. And Cabal.
Yeah.
Cabal was cool though, I thought.
I mean, Cabal's costume design was awesome.
We didn't talk about Cabal yet, yeah.
But they just punked him. I feel like all the bad, like the Outworlders that died didn't deserve to die in the first movie if they were making a trilogy.
Oh yeah, they did.
Well,
especially Melina.
Yeah,
Especially Melina.
I was actually upset that she died, and I'm also upset she didn't get she didn't really get like a big like fight scene, and I think she should have went against Sonya. But anyway, and
she's a clone of Katana, and Katana's like a main MK character.
yeah, and they just kind of like killed her off. And I was just like, you guys made her like if I didn't know nothing about Mortal Kombat, I would have been like, I would never play Melina because she's lame. They made her lame, and she's not.
And Melina's she became the Empress of Outworld at one point.
Yeah, she's like no, like it was bad. Like that part disappointed me.
Right.
Her looks not bad, but I mean,
it took the whole time, like the last 2 seconds of her being alive, to finally see that she had Tarkatan blood in her.
Yeah, and that was yeah. So I was disappointed. That was a disappointing moment.
They kept her moves in though, like her teleports.
I
and everything,
liked watching her teleporting, fighting, and there's one time there's a move where she teleports behind Cole and does a flip to grapple to the back of him and kind of sit there on him, and it was so well done. It was so well
ripped straight from the game.
And I didn't, she usually have a purple mask on. Is that
yes?
Okay,
yeah, that's her. And then she like rips it off and does her fatalities off.
I didn't know who that was. There's so much in this movie when it comes to like parts of fight scenes. A lot of the fight scenes, like as a whole, were like, okay, cool, but there were certain parts of them that were really good. Yeah. And that was hers. I really liked how Jax snapped the hammer, and just kind of, instead of using the hammer, he just tosses it because like, his hands are stronger. Exactly. What else?
This is for
when Liu Kang.
I don't know what they look like.
I like how just like we talk about Liu Kang's acting, but when it comes to his hot, when it when it comes to
oh my god.
Funny enough, Krista just asked. Not really, no.
The girls
they weren't distractingly hot like in the 90s ones where one in Annihilation, Sonya, different actor than the first one, her literally has a shirt so tight that her things are peeking through the shirt, and it's just like y'all could have put her in a different shirt anytime. I did not need to do this.
I definitely liked in the games when they strayed away from like the leotards and everyone kind of looking the same, and they finally giving everybody like their own personalities. Like Sonya wore like tactical army gear, and then like all the ninjas are different now. Like, so I'm glad they didn't do like leotards and stuff, for this movie. But
they literally have probably one of the dumbest lines in the movie. Speaking of hot girls, is when the wing girl shows up, whose name I don't know. Y'all probably know her name.
Nitara.
When she shows up and when not Shao Kahn, Shang Tsung says, "Look at her, she is beautiful." Thank you, Katrina.
Fedora. Don't you dare!
I know what the ladies like. Anyway,
I get out of here.
But that's the dumbest line when he looks up and he's like, "This is Motara. Isn't she beautiful?" And she just goes like that or something. She does like a little menacing little face that's not pretty, but they say she's pretty, so she must be pretty. I don't know. And I love what's his name with the mask, the helmet.
Cabal
is like Cabal. He's like, Cabal. Yeah, the shriek really does it for me. Sarcastically.
He comes from the Black Dragons, so it kind of makes sense that him and Kano were both on like the quippy like. I wanted more of them together, and I do too. There is certainly. I can't imagine they would not bring Kano back for a sequel because, like Shang Tsung said, the Netherworld is just a portal. It's just another place. So, what if he's not actually dead, and the Arcano thing was just like a tease, and Kano comes back, and he actually has like the cyborg eye that he's supposed to have, and he still has a laser because of it. Oh, so you're saying what if he survived? No, he's dead because she got his mark. Oh, true. That's right. Bullshit. Sorry. Yeah. Bull. Whatever. Yeah. That's another thing I didn't like was like a mark of the chosen. Get out of here.
She's a harpy. She's pretty.
She wasn't a heart. I think Nadaro's the vampire queen. Just
But
saying.
no, that's her design is a harpy though. That's what her design is. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Because the Nether realm is literally like another realm that
They can bring anybody back that they want. There's no Mortal Kombat is not about people being dead for good. It's about being how they die at the point of death. We don't care if they stay dead. We come back again so we can kill you again.
kill you again.
Yeah. You want more fatalities, Alex?
Well,
let them come back.
The
Yeah,
fun thing
that's what
could
I
be
want.
is what if there's a character named Quan Chi, and if he's like the sorcerer from NetherRealm, and he like brings the souls back from the dead and puts them into like living husks essentially, so he can control them. So maybe he'll come back, and maybe we'll have Quan Chi in one of the movies, and we have to deal with all the people they killed in the first movie and part of the people they killed in the second movie. It might be a thing.
Yeah.
Who knows? It doesn't follow Mortal Kombat lore. Like this is its own thing. Like it has like hints of like maybe a little one or two hints, but this is it's essentially its own universe. Like it's a multiverse. Yeah, that's what I thought. Nitara was like the vampire queen. That made no sense. Yeah.
Did Natara do the flip? I can't remember. I think she does.
I think
don't
she
remember
tried
if she
to,
did.
and that's how Kung Lao got on top of her,
Yeah.
Okay.
or some nonsense like that.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like the moves, like this movie was literally like watching the gameplay of the games
At points.
more than the actual story of the games.
Well, yeah. It
But
wasn't
like if the matches were like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they were like 20 seconds, and then some of them, like, even with Goro, like that, I think that fight scene was too fast. Like he's too big of a powerful kind of.
And that's one of the longer fights in the movie. Too.
The fact that Cole, the new original crappy character, was the one who killed Prince Goro, disgusting.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I think they tried to get us to feel like he earned something because of that. Because he must be special because he did that. And it's like, well, you don't have like I will say I think he had a little bit of chemistry with the other characters, but just because he didn't say much. You know, most of the characters had chemistry, like Liu Kang and Kung Lao, and despite her bad acting, Jax
Sonya and Jax
had
had
good chemistry.
Yeah, they had good chemistry.
Cole was just there for like exposition.
Cole didn't have really good chemistry with anybody but that was mostly because he didn't say much. But like when he was with his daughter, like I didn't feel like he cared too much about his daughter. Like he didn't seem like in mortal fear for his family, you know, when they were being attacked. He's just like, oh, okay, well.
And just like his magical ability to understand Japanese all of a sudden.
Oh, and I wanted to shout out too. We got some of the classic arenas.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we got probably my favorite new arena, which I hope isn't a future game, is a trailer. Because that was a really cool place to fight. Like they used the environment a lot, and you know, it was just a really fun place.
And the new games you use the environment to fight. So it's very interesting.
And she did something really clever. I like how she didn't have a Arcana at the time, but she was smart enough to use whatever chemical she used to burn Kano's eye and take it out of commission and then dispatch of him. But that is followed up, paid off by one of the worst lines of the movie. We're teaming you up against Kano because you've already kicked his ass before. But watch out, he has a laser now. He has a laser eye. Watch
I think I
out
got
for
the
that.
scene. Where is it at? Whoa, what is this doing? There we go. I was trying to see if I think I had that scene when she killed him.
That Johnny Cage tease had me going. Also, all the teases of all the warriors too. So there was Kotal Khan that got teased, and there was another one I yelled the name out. Justin, who was it?
I don't know.
I
don't know any of these characters.
It was Kotal Khan, And then it was somebody else that I yelled out that I saw. Ah, dang! It was during her like montage.
It was
of,
Shao
like,
Kahn. It was Shao Kahn.
No,
Yeah.
it was one of the person. No,
you
it
saw
was
Shao Kahn on the poster, and you were like Shao Kahn. It must have been a third one then.
There was a third one.
Okay.
There had to be because I said something. I was like, okay, boom, boom, boom. Okay, yeah. I don't remember. I don't remember now.
the third one.
No, she didn't snatch the eye. That would have been like what Alex was saying.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like because she did that. What did she grab? I forgot what she grabbed and did that right behind him.
Jake says isopropyl alcohol.
But that's the thing,
like,
though.
Would have been
So
really good.
If
really
he
hype.
Went like that. His eyeball was there. Could have like. I mean, it wasn't bad. I'm not
spit gag rather than like. What if she had ripped the eye out in the same way that he had ripped the heart out, and then she said Sonya wins, like foiling what he had said earlier, where Kano wins.
Yeah,
and it would have been a little more hype because it would have been a payoff for that. But instead, they paid off. Oh, it's flammable. Okay. Yeah.
And then I brought up the subject to Justin because he was sitting right next to me, and I'm like, so why is his eye all of a sudden acting like a mechanical misfire?
Oh,
when he was trying to do it. You notice it?
Like sparks or something? It looked like it was
It was like a mechanical misfire. But then Justin was like, well, Jax's arcane is his robot arms. And I'm like, well, point proven, but point's crap.
Yeah. I'm not defending the mechanics of the Arcana itself. I just think it was a very clever way to uniform everybody's character development so that we were, granted it didn't work with every one of them. Sonya's character development didn't come from Arcana. It came from her cleverly dispatching Kano and getting Jax to where he needed to be mentally by coaching him. But when she finally got her Arcana, it was just like, hey, I got my laser arms now. Bye. That was it. They just used it once. And her line delivery. Okay, true. Her line delivery was like literally the worst in the world, where she's like, I got his mark.
Yeah, I did.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
I'm here now, guys.
I mean, yeah, that could have been.
I don't mean to take a crap on her too much because her choreography, like, she is great. You can tell they didn't use a lot of stunt woman for at least most of her performances because she did a really good job with her, like her grappling flips and everything like that. Her nice fighting.
Like that's
she moved like Sonya.
Yeah, she moved like Sonya.
Whereas in the other two movies, it was more like a flashy blonde bombshell and like doing doing some long no hair, leg skin stuff,
right?
But this one was actually like fighting, like legit fighting.
And she was never a damsel in distress, ever.
Which Sonya.
Yeah.
Oh man, since they're going to Hollywood to go get Johnny Cage, oh man, can Cassie Cage please just be born in this universe? Oh, please.
And they didn't give her the cliche female in movie must have love interest, like Hollywood is so ridiculous for having done.
That is her love interest right there.
Johnny Cage. I know. That'll be great. And geez, please do not cast John Cena as Johnny Cage. You can come up with someone better. Give me a nobody. I just, give me a B movie.
Can I get Ryan Reynolds as Johnny Cage, please?
He would do great. But again, and to give you hope, Alex, as far as the sequel goes, speaking of Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool 1's violence compared to Deadpool 2's violence is much worse in Deadpool 2. Like, it's much more carnage in Deadpool 2.
So, and see, that's what I think. I feel like maybe I mean, I'm not saying for it being rated R, for nothing was disappointing, but maybe the director wanted to kind of not go too far, and he's like, if I get a second movie, because I'm pretty sure they're just waiting how this. I think that's the plan, but if this movie like fails, they're not going to do number 2. But if the number 2 comes in, like you said, Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2, I'm going to see more of the, like, when we have a conversation again, where I'm going to be like, you guys, look, this is what I wanted to see, like, half body sliced up, the other half tossed in the air, they're slicing the legs up, uses one foot, tosses it up into the eyeball of the head.
The Rock.
Yeah, just like all that.
I just want to see like Devora like laying eggs in someone's mouth, and then all of a sudden like a leg pops out of one arm and another leg pops out, and the legs pop out, and the legs pop out, and then like a head pops out of the guy, and then like blood. Like that makes sense because the characters later introduced, and if we get those characters, then dope.
Do you think that Disney will buy Mortal Kombat and then we'll go through 6 years of anxiety wondering if it's the next Mortal Kombat is going to be PG-13? Like we did with Deadpool.
Disney doesn't want anything to do with.
I think Mortal Kombat learned its lesson when they did their DC Mortal Kombat team up for the first game, and they came up with brutalities and like they weren't allowed to kill their DC characters, so they had to like dumb down, turn down to a teen-rated game.
Yeah, and Warner Brothers, like they're not going to be able. The Rock is a very expensive actor right now. He is very expensive, and he would insist on being the lead role. And he doesn't need this. He doesn't need this.
Cage would be the lead role if you think about it. If he's in the second movie,
in Annihilation, in Mortal Kombat Annihilation, Johnny Cage dies within the first 5 minutes of the movie in a horrible, like terrible way where that nobody even tries to help him. He just kind of just sits there and dies, almost like Kung Lao dying in this for no reason because Shang Tsung decided all of a sudden I want a soul right just now. So I'm gonna grab
the thing.
The only person at this point in time,
I hope Cole
would
dies like Johnny Cage.
Who would be able to stop Shang Tsung would be Raiden at this point in time in this movie. If I had to make a guess on like power levels, right? Like like how people have to get better and better and better to be able to fight the people. They're all kind of new, except for like Liu Kang and Kung Lao. And at the moment, Liu Kang's just like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Like he's probably having a mental breakdown instead of going to fight Shang Tsung. And Raiden's like, I cannot intervene and actually fight. He can only like empower people to be better to fight.
Well, how could Shang Tsung take Kung Lao's soul when he just wanted to, but nobody else? Like he didn't try to take anybody else's soul. In the first one, he could only take someone's soul if they were defeated in Mortal Kombat. Kung Lao was not defeated. You don't have to. He doesn't have to defeat someone in Mortal Kombat to. Okay, I don't know what the rules are, but this movie doesn't have that much of a rules. But
they're
it's the game. It's the game, but man. That's what I'm saying. They're in the rules.
I hope Cole dies in the same fashion of Johnny Cage in Annihilation, because then we could have Johnny Cage be the lead role and not have to deal with.
I would pay big money to take the eyes off of Liu Kang, which they have, and make Johnny Cage be the lead role. I'm sorry I cut you off there. I'm just agreeing with you.
I feel like just focusing on Johnny Cage, they wouldn't do this, you guys, if he wasn't going to be a major role in the second movie. This isn't one of those teasers where like, oh, he'll be one of the characters. I feel like he's going to be the focus in the second one, if there is a second one. And I think that's why they did this. And I think that's why he wasn't in this one, because I think the director was like, well, if I'm going to make it into a 3-series, whatever movie, but especially in the second one, I think he wanted Johnny Cage to be the main focus. And that's why, because if he had Johnny Cage in here, when he had like Sub-Zero taking most of the time and Kung Lao and I guess Cole, but like, I feel like the second one, he's kind of going to be like, you know what, Johnny Cage may not be like the main person, but I feel like he's going to get a lot of screen time, and I think he's going to do it right. And
like the Mortal Kombat, the Trinity.
Even if Johnny Cage is the main character, there was a main character of this movie, just didn't get a lot of screen time for a main character, and they did say the first one is in Hollywood. They're definitely going to get more than just Johnny. So there's going to be a lot of characters. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of characters, but I feel it's not like they can do too much with Johnny,
I just remembered who the other person was on the wall. Nightwolf.
The Native American guy.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what you're trying to say, Lucas? You're right, before Lucas. I cut you off?
Yep. Yeah, it was Nightwolf, Shao Kahn, and Kotal Kahn. Well, no, Kotal Kahn and Nightwolf were on the wall, and then Shao Kahn was on the temple.
Yep.
Yeah, Nightwolf would be really cool, but he's probably dead based on the fact he's on
information. And in Brazil, it would make sense for the Kotal Kahn because he's like Aztec, like inspired. So, but he's also from Outworld, so it wouldn't make sense for him to be in Earthrealm.
Yeah, Anthony's right. Johnny Cage is going to fill the Kano comic relief role.
Anthony!
You're right.
My God!
Yeah. Yep.
Hi!
Yeah.
You're right.
Hey, Anthony, how are you doing? But yeah. I do.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
So I hope the second one does happen. I mean, just here's the thing: there's gotta cast the right person for Johnny. Some people threw in The Rock, and you're saying you hope it's not John Cena, and
Ryan Reynolds would be perfect for a Johnny Cage role. Just a little too old.
Is probably the like I think John Cena seems like the most Johnny Cage to me, like because Johnny Cage is not supposed to be a good actor; he's supposed to be a good fighter, and that's what John Cena is. But I don't want that. I just don't want it. I want something else.
I mean,
a new wave actor maybe would probably be good.
Well, we don't know most of these people, so
I don't. Yeah, you're right.
I don't know Kano, but he was the standout of the movie.
He was the best.
Yeah, all his lines and like the humor, everything was good. Like all his comebacks were like perfect. It was just, and him as an actor, I don't know who I don't even know. Josh Lawson. I don't know who that is. I mean, he did a great job. He did a really good job. I'm actually curious, what has he been in?
But I will agree. One of the things I liked about the original Mortal Kombat was I actually liked that Kano as well. So that Kano did an awesome job at being Kano. So in the 90s movie.
I want a humanoid reptile in the next movie.
No, I don't want that.
Because I didn't like
I agree with Justin. I want that too.
I didn't like the reptile fight in this at all. I like how it ended.
I liked how it ended, but I didn't. Yeah,
I was that's exactly the same thing they did, other than pulling the heart out in the first movie. It just looked a little bit better here. The 90s movie, it is the worst CGI I've ever seen in my life.
Nah, I don't want humanoid reptile. I want my bestial Killer Croc mutated reptile. That's what I want.
We already had that in the Amazing Spider-Man.
He looked like a better lizard. That CG was better than the lizard CG animation.
I like the lizard's lab coat though. You can't go wrong.
Well, I mean, if he wore it, but he didn't wear it.
So Jake's with unless he can shapeshift.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense because literally Reptile was just one of the ninja copy clones in the original games, and that's when they finally, like I said earlier, they were trying to give you different aspects of each character. And they decided reptile needs to look like a reptile.
I like 90s movie lizard people because of the meme with the lizard from Spider-Man. You rock, Krista. Exactly. Exactly.
All right, you guys, let us go into the movie review rank where those who are watching, we always at the end give a ranking out of 10 of what we thought about the movie. So I will start with me. Like I said, I enjoyed it. Acting, CGI wasn't bad, actually, at all. And like I said, the CGI, I think the one that really impressed me the most was the CGI around Sub-Zero. Just amazing. And if I've never watched Mortal Kombat before, and I watched it, I watched this movie, I think I would have made Sub-Zero as my favorite Mortal Kombat character just based off everything they did in the movie. They utilized everything that is Sub-Zero. They utilized it and gave him cool scenes, different things he did with water and just the ice, and having it go up in the air, bringing it down. It was amazing. So just CGI with that. Like I said, Raiden, my favorite. He was good. And like I said, the fighting wasn't disappointing. The fatalities weren't disappointing. I wanted more violence, more gore. But other than that, I'm not dinging it for points or saying it was disappointing. So for those who watched it, I mean, besides I think Jake's the only one that's saying, yeah, we need some more violence. But here's one thing I will bring up. We didn't bring this up. I'm gonna kind of ding some points on this. The music, a lot of the music choices for the fight.
Shirai Ryu.
It was
Jake Griffin. No Lin Kuei here. Get out of here. We don't want none of them types around here.
It was a lot of the music's choices, because like I said, when I watch movies, any movie, it doesn't matter, music sets the tone for different scenes. And in this one, they had some music where it was kind of it was going with the fighting, but then it changed the pacing, or the sound of the music was different, and it was just it was not matching now the fight scenes.
No tone
scenes. Yeah, it was just kind of I don't need the Mortal Kombat theme in every fight scene, but I mean if you're gonna have them fighting, I don't know, there wasn't something that was kind of setting the tone for the scenes. So I didn't like that in particular.
I wasn't impressed with the music choicing at all.
Yeah, I wasn't
Like
at all.
the sound design was pretty meh. Like
I
crap,
feel
in my
like
opinion.
I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
like the guy who made the music for this had already made all of this music, and he's just like, "Oh, now I have a place to put it." And then he's like, "But I'll make one more song, and we'll hold off on using the Mortal Kombat theme until we can use
Till the end, and just,
7 notes of it at the most hype moment, and then immediately abandon it
yeah,
and then never use it again till the end."
yeah. So
Exactly. No
yeah,
music.
yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. So with that being said, trying to think of anything else that I missed. I will give it, like I said, I watched the movie and I was happy with it, so I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. But yeah, not no 10 out of 10. I'm not gonna go lower than 9. I was thinking 8, but I'm just like, no, I wasn't like upset or sad, or I'm not sad, sad, upset or like disappointed with the movie or anything like that. So, just like when we're talking, this is off topic, when we're talking about Kong versus Godzilla, when I just wanted the fight scenes, I got that. So in here, I got the fight scenes. They were good. Goro, I think, was the only one that was disappointing.
Don't want to talk about my boy Goro. They did him dirty.
They really did, and he died so
They did him
fast.
better than the 90s one.
I
There
mean,
was more screen time with that animatronic than there was at all with the CG animation.
Yeah, you're right. Here's the thing, and he looked really good in this movie, and he dies like within 5 minutes of that fight scene. It was just against someone like like you said, Lucas, someone that we didn't really care about, a new character. Like out of all the characters, why was it him that was able to,
Like it should have been, if I wanted to see if someone that was in this movie who was on the shadow, the Temple of Light or whatever the balls they were now being calling, not White Lotus. I think they're supposed to be White Lotus. Anyways, like I think it should have been Liu Kang that fought him. It should have been Liu Kang.
Liu Kang, yeah, I agree.
Like it should have gave us like the two of the main like figureheads of Mortal Kombat fighting each other. Not this new character. I don't want to talk about Cole, man. I hate him. I hated him so much. I hated everything about him.
Anthony brought up a good point. That was another thing. Like the cuts during the fights, they were like quick style cutscenes. It was just like different angles. I think that, I don't know if I had too much of a problem with it, but it was a little too much. I don't know.
I think they did enough wide shots to really show us, especially with Liu Kang and Kung Lao. They did some really far back shots so you could see their kata and then their powers and also their kung fu. But when it comes to like, especially Sonya, a lot of quick, traditional style, quick action cuts where like cameras going in and out. And it's like,
oh man. I mean, and I agree with Anthony. He says, I'm fine with them making a new character for the movie, just make him more interesting, and he wasn't. So I was talking to Justin about, because he kept asking me some questions about the lore of Mortal Kombat and stuff. Mortal Kombat Deception, if I'm not mistaken, you were able to play as a new character that in an open-esque world environment, and watched him gradually go from a young man to a old man, and his name is Shujinko. And it told you the story of this character. So the fact that you got to play as a new character in the Mortal Kombat games, not as a well-known character, that was interesting to me. That was an interesting way of introducing a new character into something that's new. Cole, comparing it to Cole, who is a new character within the Mortal Kombat franchise, which could be compared to the Shujinko character, like Cole's crap. Cole is garbage. There's no reason for him to be here except to literally throw exposition and plots at for us, the audience, to understand. Like Justin was explaining to me. But I didn't need that though. I didn't want that. I would have been fine if he was not there, and I still got exposition thrown at me through like the characters.
Yeah. So ranking, what would you? It's like
8 out of 10, leaning a little bit more towards 7.5. Like I really liked it. I don't want that to seem like I don't like the movie, right? I really liked it. I am a huge Mortal Kombat fan. I'm not the biggest, but I definitely know a good fraction of what goes on within the games and the lore. So like I took this going into, because I did see a little spoilery, not like spoilers, but I knew, like I was told it wasn't faithful to the lore, right? So I went into it thinking as like a multiverse story, basically, like, hey, this is their own take. Don't compare it to the games. Don't compare it to this huge extensive lore that's been out for years and years and years. Just go into it with a new ideas in the head and a low bar set, and I went into it like that way, and I came out. It was fun. It was really fun. A lot of characters proved me wrong. Like I really enjoyed Kano. I like Jax a little bit. I really enjoyed Sub-Zero. I loved Bihan. I loved Hanzo. I mean, I already said who I hated, so y'all know that already. Sonya and Cole. I'm sorry. I like Sonya as a character, but I don't like what they did to her here. Cole, like I keep saying, Cole is trash. Cole is garbage. I do not need Cole. I did not need Cole. And I didn't like what they did to my villains of the series either. They killed them off way too early, like big name villains. They should have if they wanted to show off fatalities, they could have gave us Tarkatans, which is like the red shirts from Outworld, or they could have just gave us more like Lin Kuei people to fight against and have the fatalities done on them. If they want to keep going with these movies, like you didn't need to kill off big name characters already, and that did aggravate me a little bit. It did. Like,
especially Melina,
Kano, and Cabal. Like those are three very big characters. Kung Lao dying early, he is a main character, but that gives Liu Kang a drive going forward in these movies. If they kept on going with these movies, makes sense. Kill off a good guy, and that was a good guy that they killed off.
The coolest fighter in the movie.
Sadly, but like there's just a lot of choices that they made that I mean like. Justin, I said with Justin, I was hyped the whole time. I had fun, but it did aggravate me as like a fan as a fan. Like I was like, there's things that they're doing right now that I don't think are the best choices if they're trying to build a movie universe. Now, granted, we'll see if this happens and the next movie goes into it. If they do something that impresses me with the characters that they have left from the roster, then go for it. Sure, I'm down. But as of right now, this is like a 7.58 for me.
Okay. You, Justin.
First off, I'll answer Katrina's question. If Jake's still here, he can probably fact check me on this, but I believe it's called a kata, and it's what a lot of people do, kung fu people do as a way to stretch and move their body. It's the things that they do like that, like in the Matrix before they fight, like that stuff. The cameras give you enough. You're able to see that all very well, and that's what I was talking about. All right, to my score, I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10, but I want to say, like Anthony says in here, he makes kind of a good point here. The opening 10 minutes is 10 out of 10. The rest of it is 7 out of 10. This movie, I've touched on all my likes and dislikes at this point, but I haven't really talked. This movie has no heart. There's no heart. None of the characters are people that we're necessarily rooting for, except for Hanzo, because of the first 10 minutes of the movie. Jake.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But what that it doesn't have enough heart because it's immediately done away with, and there's no connection from Cole to him. There's zero. The only connection is because they're blood, but there's no like beyond that. There's no similarities. There's no reason for Cole to have any care about his ancestor. You know, I would have fixed this easily by, number one, having Raiden take the baby, having it be a son, and they've been playing fast and loose with their time travels, and Raiden just kind of, you know, have that be the descendant who was born out of time, and that Scorpion was the father and not the great-great-grandfather's nephew's cousin, the roommate, that he has no idea, you know, what like they're not linked really at all. So that the moment when, and just like some little bit of crumbs here, like where right at the beginning, Cole looks at his daughter and he's like, "She's my ring." What did he say? He's like, "She's corner." Yeah, but they never developed the relationship between him and his daughter. Which at first I was like, "Is that his daughter or is?" What is their relationship? And then the wife showed up, and I was like, the wife showed up, and I was like, oh, okay, so that's his daughter. Okay. And she gave him a bracelet, and the bracelet got frozen, but there was no like reason. There was never like heart between their connections, and Cole really could have used that. I don't think his acting, you know, was necessarily like, he probably could have done better if they'd given him an opportunity, but he just doesn't deliver anything very well. Mm-hmm. And from that beginning scene, you really don't know why you're supposed to care about Hanzo other than the fact that his family just died. Like, you don't know what he did to Bihan. Like, did he kill Bihan's family too before? Like, what is going on? Like, it's just very confusing. And from that inception point, the movie fails to ever develop any reason to care about like whether these people succeed or not.
Just
it's
care
just
what's going
fun.
on in their
It's
world.
just fun to watch them doing it, and they do make it a great time. Like, I think of all the movies we've reviewed, this is the most fun I've had watching this one. This is a fun movie from start to finish. You're just enjoying every second of it. So because it has no heart, I'm actually going to give it a lot higher than I thought I would, because, you know, typically a movie like this doesn't do anything profound, but it is cut very well. It has a lot of characters, which is usually a bad thing, but it develops each and every one of them. It gives each and every one of them a time to shine, even some of the bad guys. Not all the bad guys. They're not like main characters.
Well, yeah.
It's just, except and Cole, you know, Cole has an arc. It's not a good arc, but he has an arc. It has a beginning, middle, and end.
I want to say something to that though, because not all characters got their character arc, right? So Cabal, Outwater, but we knew he has a connection to Kano through the Black Dragons.
No, I wouldn't talk. Cabal wasn't. He was introduced way late and just was there as a punching bag to. And then he was an exposition dump, is what he was.
And then Melina, cool powers. And then Melina is like I hate what they did to her. So that's what I want to say it though. But like, she's a main character, basically one of the main antagonists of the whole series of all time. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we don't get anything about her except like her name's Melina. That's it.
Yeah. You know, I just thought of something too based on what Jake said. Like, imagine if Cole grew up his whole life afraid of ice, afraid of the cold, because of, you know, the memories, not the memories, but the idea like of Raiden telling him what happened to him with his father, and then like not knowing he was Raiden and just having him get adopted somewhere and grow up. But he's always afraid of the cold. And then whenever Sub-Zero is around, he has to then overcome his fear. There would have been some heart there. There would have been something there. They failed to do that. But, and then again, I'm not talking about all, like, Cabal is not, he's a character to watch fight. He's not a character. We're not following his journey. I'm talking about everybody we start with or we develop with, you know, we're following their stories.
Yeah, I agree, Jake.
Yeah, exactly. Or that's like a good point, Justin. Cole feeling connected to the Lin Kuei or I don't know the different clans, but feeling that connection, the family connection, him maybe having a scene explaining to his daughter about the importance of the clan and how his family and all that, just a very Vin Diesel family, you know, kind of, deliver it. You know, there would have been some heart to that. But anyway, moving on from that, I think a lot of the characters,
Vin Diesel's family.
So that the character development for a lot of the characters, they each have, you know, if they don't have a fatality, they have something cool they're doing. For fan service, this movie has so much fan service. It does a lot of things that would have been easy fan service, they just don't do. And so for that reason, and for the fact that it doesn't have any heart, I'm going to give it a 9, because I feel like it's an almost perfect movie. It is almost like, for what it's doing, it's almost perfect. The writing is actually pretty good at some points. You know, it's mostly the trash talking writing, if it's not ad-libbed, and if it's ad-libbed, bravo.
I am impressed with that from you.
But yeah, I mean, I had a great time. Like, I'm not gonna. I usually like. I'm biased, but like, this movie didn't frustrate me that much. It didn't really like, there wasn't a lot that really frustrated me. You know, it was just, I look at it and I wish it could have been better, but I didn't get actually frustrated with it. It was despite its shortcomings, I never got hung up on them because I was having so much fun laughing or seeing the violence. So yeah, good for me. 9 out of 10.
Yeah, Jake, I agree that completely. That's why I said when I went into this movie, I saw it as like another universe. I didn't see it as like canon and lore. But there's just some aspects, like certain people dying and like way powers were handled and everything else that I just couldn't look past, really. Oh, I looked past it for the fun of the movie, but like, when it comes into me rating a movie.
Right, like, and I'm also judging this as an adaptation of the source material and a remake of the original movie. And I think it does. I think it's the better helping of those things if you're not one who plays fighting games. It is the best way to digest this IP.
You know, and also, just real quick, just thinking about, I think, for anyone anyone in the chat who not really like, don't know too much about Mortal Kombat, I think this movie doesn't make you feel lost, you know, on like, kind of like what's going on or who this and that.
Because
like
the lore is pretty crazy. The lore is pretty
despite
extensive
all
and
the
crazy.
characters, you still are able to follow everything, and that's you got to give it credit for that.
Yeah,
that's why I gave it an 8, Jake. It's kind of in the middle for me.
Accuracy is an adaptation.
Yeah, okay. I would assume.
I don't have that to go on. So
yeah, you don't. So you're just viewing this as like a fun movie experience.
As a casual consumer with a limited amount of knowledge and having seen the original movies, I will never like Liu Kang is the biggest disappointment. I need some hairspray. Give me some hairspray in the next movie, and we'll talk. But
right.
And I can't say how many times the freaking music, everything Alex said. You know, agreed.
Well, looks like we all gave our review on the movie. All different opinions. I see also in the chat, so I appreciate you all in the chat. And again,
guys,
if you haven't hit
that,
thank you for participating. If you haven't hit that like button, we really appreciate it.
Please hit the like.
Also for our channel,
if you can, you know.
I hope you enjoy it, Krista. Please watch it. You know.
Yeah. And for those
thanks for sticking around, Jake.
Yeah, for those who haven't watched it, go watch it. You won't be disappointed. I mean, you can see that from everyone that's rating it, that has seen it. I mean, I think the lowest one I saw was 7, but that was Anthony kind of saying for the rest of it. The beginning was 10 out of 10. But here's the thing: if your favorite Mortal Kombat character is Sub-Zero, you will not be disappointed. If that's just your whole thing about the whole movie, you will not be disappointed. And you really will enjoy Sub-Zero.
You'll only be disappointed if Goro is your favorite.
Yeah, Goro, or big time Goro.
And I'm disappointed in people whose favorite's now Cole.
Cole's my favorite, guys.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever. I don't think that will ever happen. Yeah, Chris, let me know. You know, watch it. If it sucks, let me know. But I don't think you'll say it sucks. You probably will say the acting sucks, but
some of it does.
Yeah. But yeah, on that note, I think we agreed to do the top 5. So right now, for letting everyone know in the chat what's going to be the discussion for next week, I think we're going to do the top 5 favorite Pixar movies.
Ooh.
Is that a good one for next week?
Let's do it. Oh,
top 5?
Maybe not, because I might not be in town next week.
Okay.
So,
and then I will not be in town the following weekend.
So what do you want? So are you saying you're not going to be in the stream next week? Are you saying, do I have to do this solo?
I mean, might be in Orlando next week.
Oh,
so
okay.
remember,
right.
And then I will be in Orlando the following week.
Exactly.
But if you're going to do the Pixar movie one, you should have me on here so we can get all the people.
Maybe we should do one maybe we should do one during the week this week.
Oh, well, it probably would be the top 5 then. Let's do, maybe we'll talk about it because I thought that would be like, so if we're going to do, all right, so for you guys in the chat and anyone new, we usually do our show every Sunday, but there can be some complications for next Sunday. So we might do one maybe Thursday, Friday, somewhere. I don't know. We'll pick a day. But if you follow us on our Instagram, we post everything on our stories. So my mods, if you guys are there, actually, there was one other person I was going to make a mod. Krista, you are now a mod. But yeah, my mods, if you can drop the links to my Instagram, Lucas's Instagram.
Yep, please.
Yeah, we follow us because we do all kinds. We talk about everything that we do on our channels and about the stream, but we will talk about what would be the next subject. I was hoping for the top 5 Pixar movies. That would have been fun to do. But I guess.
Well, like I just said, we could do a weekday stream this week.
We'll talk about it. We will talk amongst ourselves, and we'll get something planned out. When we figure something out, we'll put it up. We'll put it up on our Instagram. But yeah,
I think that's it. I think
Yeah,
we're
no, it was
out.
like those
This was so much fun.
But yeah, you guys, this was
We're
fun.
so lucky to have this version of Mortal Kombat as a movie.
We are.
Even if it's not a 10 out of 10. I mean, it's so fun.
Yeah,
It is.
it was a fun movie. It was great. This was a really fun discussion with you guys and everyone that was in the chat. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much, because you didn't have to be here. You could have been doing something else, but you joined and you participated, and we appreciate
Give me one
that.
more, Alex. Give me one more, Alex.
I'll do it with you guys, but I don't have a hat.
Yeah, you don't have a hat.
do the slow look up, Alex. Come on.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, there you go.
Raiden.
Hit him.
I can't take you serious. Your hat is too like.
Nobody can take me seriously.
I even have like the lettering. See, it's just like.
Yeah, mine is the wish.com version of yours. You know?
Yeah. Thank you, Jake. We got followed on Instagram and here. Thank you for subscribing to our channel. Thank you for following us on Instagram.
And,
Appreciate it.
You can go to the twin stream event Adventures by Ables on YouTube as well. That's where we streamed it live there as well, Jake.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, you guys. So we will let you know on our Instagram what will be the next one. Thank you for participating. We appreciate you guys all. Love you all. And on that note, always
test your might.
Dun 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 dun
always be yourself. Unless you can be Batman or Raiden. All right, you guys.
Mortal Kombat.
Have a good night.
Lucas is being so extra right now.